Welcome to the first race of Season 7 Formula Omega. On pole position, defending champion Amber. Alongside on the front row is Alp. Elise and Alex make up row 2. About ready for the start? Looks like Amber's got away well. Elise getting well on the second row. She's already ahead of Alp. And coming into Sainte Devote, it is the leading 3. Amber, Elise and Alp. Alex has lost out to Meg into turn 1. Let's see a replay of the start. You can see Elise getting a very good initial launch, already ahead of Alp well before turn 1. Having no choice but to follow Amber through, as she made a good start as well. Let's see a replay of what happened with Maggie. Starting from 6th position, not the best initial getaway, already lost out to Kerrod. And it looks like Greg gets around as well, so that's a very poor start from Maggie. Here's Mia's start from 17th position on the grid. Not many opportunities from back here at this track, very hard to overtake, already past Izzy, and looks like she makes contact with Dan. We'll have to see if Dan's taken any damage from that. So we can see a replay of Dan getting kind of boxed in by Mary, and then Mia really cutting across. We'll have to see whether the stewards want to investigate that. Now, coming into the chicane, it's Amber leading, but Elise close behind, and they make contact. Elise spins around, blocks the track. Alp has no choice but to run into her, but I don't think Alp's taken any damage. And Elise will fall right to the back of the field, as everyone's still bunched up. No opportunity to tuck back in here. She is down to 22nd place. Let's see a replay of what happened there. So Elise having a very good run coming out of the tunnel. Amber takes a defensive line, doesn't leave enough space on either side. But I don't think Amber did anything wrong there. And the Alp really having nowhere to go there. Like, just no options for him. Very lucky he didn't take damage. Finishing lap 1, that incident given Amber a substantial lead. 2.2 seconds. Got a bit of a train forming behind Alp as we begin the second lap. Coming into the chicane again, and Meg's gone for a dive bomb. Just about enough space to make it work. Alp manages to hold the position. Looks like Meg's going to try another move into back, but thinks better of that. Alp holds on for second for now. Mia makes contact with the wall, and again, losing a wheel. And that will certainly be her out of the race. Looks like she was way too late on the brakes. Initial contact unsettled the car, and there was no way of avoiding that barrier on the outside of the swimming pool section. So Mia, our first retirement. Alp still holding second, but a poor line through the casino section, and Meg's through into the Mirabeau. Beautiful move around the outside. Let's see a replay of that. See a little puff of smoke coming from Alp's car. Don't think that's reflective of a technical issue. Perhaps just slight contact with the wall. Kerrod getting very late on the brakes into the chicane and making contact with the wall on the outside. No one able to get round though. Definitely bunched up the field behind him. So Meg's been released into second, immediately sets the fastest lap, and sets about chasing down Amber. Get down to 2.4 seconds. Alp's now got his hands full defending against Alex. The two of them not able to keep up with the pace of the leading 2. And Meg has already caught up to the back of Amber at the start of lap 5. Be interesting to see whether she can get past as easily as she did with Alp. So we have our first pit stops. One mandatory stop for this race. So Amber already having to take defensive lines, but still very hard to pass around her. Greg into the pits. One of the earliest of the leaders to come in. Very light starting fuel load. Wasn't really able to do much with it on the start, but this early tyre change, if he can come out in clear air, might give him an opportunity on fresh tyres. Is Alp defending against Alex, makes the same mistake again, and that's... Alex needs no further invitation, he's through before the corner. Meg comes into the pits fairly early. That's not perhaps surprising. It looked like with her early pace she might have a light fuel load on the start. Good stop though. And she should come out in a decent position. As Daniel has crashed in the tunnel. It seems like Dan's run wide, crashed well before the tunnel. Lost that wheel, no chance of continuing. Very lucky of everyone to dodge it. That was very close. And Dan slightly dangerously rolls it into the tunnel after making that contact with the wall. But Alex into the pits. Third one of the leaders to make a pit stop here. Looks like quite a slow one, 7.7 seconds. I'll be a bit unhappy with that. Comes out in 16th place. As Norell is out, with looks like some kind of technical issue at the hairpin. Car's just completely ground to a halt. And that is one of the DLPs out of the race. It's all down to Greg now. Transmission failure we're hearing for Norell. Here are our positions as of lap 10. Amber leads by 4.6 seconds after Meg's pit stop. Meg down in 12th place, but she's still very close to that pit window of Amber as things stand. It's going to be interesting to see whether Amber can pull out enough of a gap. More pit stops happening. Anna, Mia Hart, Hisham all in the pits. Interesting to see if they can make up some positions against the cars they're racing. Skevens comes into the pits on lap 11. 5.8 second stop for Skevens. Very impressive from the Skev Motors crew. As Lewis and Mary pit as well. Skevens coming out the pits ahead of Greg, who has already made his pit stop, so that is significant. Skevens should be able to pull away now with fresher tyres. Meg 15.9 seconds behind Amber as it stands, which is within the pit window. Amber needs to pull out a further gap than that, but Meg is being held up by Izzy, who has yet to stop. So it's Kerrod and Maggie who pit, and Maggie's pit crew gets slightly better launch, and Kerrod has to be held to prevent an unsafe release. That lets Greg past him. Greg's unable to get past Maggie. Maggie rejoins in 9th position. Amber leads by 4.7 seconds over Alp, holding that gap fairly steady. And Amber comes into the pits at the end of lap 13. Alp continues on. It looked like with their early poor pace, they might have a heavy fuel load. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do in the closing stages. It's going to be critical to see whether Meg can come out ahead of Amber. It looks like she has. Amber is not even that close to Meg. Under pressure from Alex into Sandevot. Manages to hold the position. That's net second for Amber as things stand. Next lap in, it's Alp and Kevin. Seeing the last of the pit stops now. Very good stop from Alp, but has to be held to wait for Izzy. As expected, Meg resumes the lead, but with Amber's fresh tyres, she's rapidly closing that gap. It's going to be interesting to see whether Amber can make an overtake in the closing stages here. Alex currently rounding out the podium, the last of the pit stops complete. It's still very close within the top 10. A lot can still change here. Overtaking is difficult, but it's not quite impossible. Mary locking up horribly and straight into the barriers at Portier. And holding up a large number of the field, Quinn gets bunched up behind, and that's going to give the opportunity for Mia Hart to get round. And it looks like Lewis gets past Hisham as well. It's Mary out of the race. Lewis side by side with Quinn into the chicane. Quinn's later on the brakes. Lewis going to try and hold it. But very close to making contact. They've just about managed to keep it out of themselves and the barrier. Lewis going for it into the back and makes the position. Now Quinn has to defend against Hisham, but there's very few overtaking opportunities through there. So Mary out of the race. Again, rolling her car into a bit of a dangerous position. The leaders are coming up to where Meg's parked. It's going to be interesting to see whether this has any effect. As Mary's car gets winched away, it seems that Amber's been held up. She's slowed down, and that's going to give Alex the opportunity to get past. Alex very late on the brakes. Absolutely sends it. Keeps it on the track. Amber's forced to concede the position. She's down to third. So let's see what happened here. Amber slowing down. Really quite excessively much, actually. Just considering the car had already been... I think there was some confusion about what was going on there. Meg was able to get away, and that just gives Alex the opportunity to get through. And in the background we can see Maggie passing Skevens as well. And further back, we've got Alp getting past Michael into the back. Alp up to 6th place now. Here's a replay of what happened with Maggie. See, this just gives the opportunity. Skevens gets caught on the outside. Maggie nips through into 4th position. Alp with fairly old tyres, holding up a bit of a train here. He's moved into 2nd place, but we know Amber's got the faster pace. She's pitted very recently, and she was catching Meg rapidly before that incident. 3 laps to go. Can Amber retake 2nd? Can anyone else in this train take an opportunity to make up positions? We see that Kerrod has joined the back of it. As Greg is also out, both DLPs retired from this race, with what seems like another issue. The car at a funny angle, could be a suspension issue, maybe a puncture. As we see, Alp has a very slow run through the casino section, and Amber absolutely dives through into Mirabeau. Takes second position back. Here's a replay. Fairly easy pass in the end. Alex just doesn't have the grip to defend. It's going to be interesting to see whether he can hold on against Maggie. Amber comfortably pulling away now, but the gap is 5 seconds to Meg. It's going to be very hard for Amber to close that down before the end of the race. And Meg is seemingly going quick enough to not be at risk of being caught by Amber. As we're hearing, Kevin has a late electrical issue. With just 1 lap to go, he'll be forced to pit and lose that points-paying position in 9th. Very unfortunate for the Dancing Donkeys, but this does move his teammate Anna up into 10th place, so it's only 1 point lost. Coming through the final few corners now, and it's Meg with a 5-second lead over Amber, as she comes across the line to win the first race of Season 7 at Monaco. Fantastic drive from Meg, no mistakes. Amber will be a bit disappointed with second, but it's still good points towards her championship defence. Alex rounds out the podium in 3rd, follows, able to defend against that train of cars behind him in the end. Maggie, Skevens, Alp, Michael, Kerrod, Izzy and Anna round out the points.